Good afternoon, and welcome to Chapel Chat. I'm Pastor Kevin Little, and this is the chapel at Rantoul First United Methodist Church. Wow, what a crazy week it's been. Between daylight savings ending and election time, it seems like everyone is grumpy and frustrated. So let's talk about those things. First off, daylight savings time. Oh man, do I hate this. Just set the time and leave it alone. I can't sleep right. Everything's a mess for weeks after a time change for me. And not in a normal way. Like we just fell backwards. So 10 p.m. became 9 p.m. Okay, fine. Why am I going to bed at 1 a.m.? I'm normally headed to bed at 11, which would be midnight now. But for some reason, I'm adding another hour to an hour and a half to my schedule. Staying up till 12 at least makes a little bit of sense. But staying up until 1 or 2 is bonkers. And that's what I've been doing, though, since this time shifted. Hopefully, after another week of this, I'll get it sorted out and go back to normal. But man, it's been rough. Enough about that. Let's talk about the elections. Remember back in the day when our government functioned the way it was designed and everybody was happy with it? If you don't, it happened from December 2nd of 1783 to December 4th of 1783. Ever since then, things have been a mess. Mostly because there are people involved, and people tend to make a mess of things. Just look at the Garden of Eden. Everything was great, and then people made a mess of it. It went from a brand new creation that was new and wonderful to the mess that's left behind in a theater after a packed crowd watches a movie. Our government is supposed to function on a basis of checks and balances. But for years, our focus has been more on checks than balance. And that's because humanity has a documented history of looking out for our own self-interests rather than looking out for others the way the Bible calls us to. The Bible is full of stories where this happens as cautionary tales, and yet we keep doing it. Joseph's brothers sell him into slavery. Moses flees Egypt. Jonah jumps on a ship going anywhere but Nineveh. King David sends his friend to die so that he can steal his wife. The list goes on and on. And yet the example we're supposed to be following is one of service and humility, not self-interest. Heal the sick. Spend time with the people no one wants to be around. Feed the hungry whether they can feed themselves or not. Sacrifice ourselves for the benefits of others. None of those things are present in our government. I think we should scrap the whole existing system and start all over again. But that's just me. The only way we really have to make it better is to vote as best we can. So we do our best as flawed human beings to vote for other flawed human beings to lead a flawed human structure. And then we loudly proclaim our support for one side or another and lose friendships and family relationships all over it. Eck. As Christians, no matter what we believe about varying political hot-button issues, we should believe in the unifying grace of Jesus' teachings. We should be working together to demonstrate to the world around us what the kingdom of God will be. We shouldn't be arguing about all this stuff. If you're person one, good for you. Win with grace and understand that someone else feels differently, but demonstrate love for them like Jesus would. If you're person lost, feel sorrow with grace and understand that someone else feels differently, but demonstrate love for them like Jesus would. And maybe, just maybe, if we try to look at things that way, we'll stop dividing so sharply in our country because at least we have the common ground of demonstrating grace and love for each other. Not just saying that we love people, but hate all of their choices or things like that, but actually demonstrating that love through our communication and our actions. So if you're a Republican, go hug a Democrat today. If you're a Democrat, go hug a Republican. And in that process, remember that you're all children of God and unified in that manner, regardless of how you feel about politics. Thanks for joining me for another Chapel Chat. I'll see you again next time. Have a great week.